There's been a lot of buzz lately about the Las Vegas Raiders and not necessarily the kind of buzz you want heading into a new season. I came across something that genuinely raised my eyebrows, a report suggesting that the Raiders might not extend Kolton Miller or Jakobi Meyers this offseason. Now let me tell you right now, that thought is wild to me. You're watching Raiders Wire, and if you're a fan like me, then you know exactly how important these two players are to the future of this franchise. And yet here we are talking about the possibility that the front office might just let both of them roll into free agency. If you're asking me, I think that's a massive mistake. So let's start with Kolton Miller. This guy has been a steady anchor on that offensive line since he was drafted back in 2018. Has he been perfect? No. Did he have a slow start last season? Absolutely. But keep in mind, he was coming off shoulder surgery, and once he got his rhythm back, from week 6 to week 18, the man gave up only 1 sack. That's a little of a pass protection in this league, especially when you're talking about the blindside protector for your quarterback. And that's where this gets even more baffling, because you just traded for Geno Smith, gave him a 2-year extension before he's even played it down in silver and black, and now you're thinking about not locking down the guy who's going to be responsible for keeping him upright. It just doesn't add up. Kolton Miller is 29 years old. He's still in his prime, and more importantly, he wants to be a Raider for life. He said it out loud. He's shown up for non-mandatory off-season work. He's doing everything you want a cornerstone player to do, yet here we are wondering if he's going to get a new deal. From what I read, the holdup comes down to money. Of course it does. Miller reportedly wants top 10 left tackle money, which means around $20 million a year, maybe a little more. Look at the contracts handed out recently. Guys like Dion Dawkins are setting the market, and Miller's age and resume put him right in that same tier. If the Raiders truly value him, then this is the kind of investment they should be making. Now I get it, there's this young kid Charles Grant they drafted, and some folks inside the organization are high on him. He's athletic, he's promising, he's raw. But that's just it, he's raw. Betting your future at left tackle on a third-round rookie who's never played an NFL snap is a gamble, especially when your quarterback is someone like Geno Smith, who's had his fair share of struggles behind subpar protection back in Seattle. Charles Grant may very well be the future, but asking him to be ready in 2026 feels premature. Word around camp is that he still needs time to develop to get used to the speed and complexity of the pro game. Throwing him out there too early could be a disaster, and the last thing this team needs is another Brandon Parker situation on their hands. The report I saw predicted that the Raiders will monitor Miller this year, see how he fits into Chip Kelly's offensive scheme and how he works under Brennan Carroll, the new offensive line coach and son of Pete Carroll. If he thrives, maybe he gets that $20 to $23 million deal next spring. If not, the team pivots to Grant on a cheap rookie deal. On paper that sounds logical, but real football doesn't happen on paper. Kolton Miller has proven he can play at a high level. He's proven he can be a leader. And in a year where the Raiders are clearly trying to retool and push forward, how do you not want that kind of guy in your building long term? And listen, let's not forget that the Raiders are sitting on one of the top 10 salary caps in the league right now. There is money to be spent, somewhere between 31 and 32 million depending on where you look. So what's the holdup? You've got the funds, you've got the need, you've got a player who checks every single box. Letting this drag on any longer sends a terrible message to the rest of the locker room. You reward your hardest workers, your most loyal guys, especially when they're performing on the field. Otherwise, what incentive is there for anyone else to go above and beyond? And speaking of loyalty, let's shift over to Jakobi Meyers. This guy is 28 years old and just came off the best season of his career, over 1,000 receiving yards, 87 catches for touchdowns, all while catching passes from a quarterback carousel that included Aidan O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jarrett Stidham. None of those names scream elite quarterback play, yet Meyers was consistent, reliable, and productive. And now you add Geno Smith into the mix, someone who, while not elite, is at least capable of elevating his receivers. The ceiling for Meyers in this offense is higher than it's ever been before. Meyers is the kind of wide receiver every team wants, but not enough teams appreciate. He's not flashy, he's not a diva, he's not going to throw a tantrum on the sideline if he doesn't get the ball. He's just going to show up, run his routes, make tough catches, and move the chains. He's voted by his peers as one of the most underrated receivers in the entire NFL. And here's the stat that really blew me away over the last 4 years. He has more receptions than guys like DK Metcalf and Mike Evans. Let that sink in for a second, and just like Miller, Jacoby has expressed his desire to stay in Vegas. He wants to be part of this culture, this team, this city. He fits the mold of what the Raiders are trying to build: tough, reliable team-first guys who can help lay a foundation for sustained success. So why is his future in doubt? Some folks will say the Raiders already drafted wide receiver insurance. Jack Beck, Dante Thornton Jr., Tommy Mellott, those are the names being tossed around as possible successors, and maybe down the line they will be. But right now none of them are proven. Trey Tucker is also in the mix, and while he's reportedly taken a step forward, it's a massive leap to assume that any of those young guys can replace the production and leadership that Myers brings. You don't build a roster by replacing proven veterans with a bunch of hopefuls. You develop the young guys under the wing of players like Jacoby, so when the time comes, they're ready. That's how good teams do it. Now here's the kicker. Vincent Bonsignori, who reported on this situation, actually predicts that the Raiders will resign Jacoby Myers, just not this offseason. He thinks it'll happen next year after another season plays out. But let's be honest, if Jacoby goes out and has another big year, that price tag is only going up. Bonsignori mentioned a deal in the range of 3 years, $58 million, with 35 guaranteed. If you wait, that number might balloon. Why risk it from a financial standpoint? Locking up Myers now could save you millions down the line. Offer him something in the range of 2 years, $40 million, and you're locking in your top wide out at a fair price before the market explodes. That kind of deal makes him the 22nd highest paid receiver in the league. Not a bargain, but absolutely fair value for someone of his skill set and production level. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. Simple math. There's also the chemistry angle. You've committed to Geno Smith. You've said he's your guy at least for the next 2 seasons. Well, what better way to help him succeed than by ensuring he has a stable number 1 option on the field? Quarterbacks thrive when they have receivers they can trust, guys who are where they're supposed to be, who make contested catches, who run crisp routes. That's Jacoby Myers in a nutshell. If you're building around Geno, then build around Geno. Don't half comment. Give him the tools he needs to thrive. And one more thing, it's not just about what these guys do on Sundays, it's who they are every single day. Kolton Miller and Jacoby Myers are leaders. They show up to off-season workouts that they don't even have to attend. They put in the work. They lead by example. And in today's NFL, especially with how chaotic some locker rooms can be, that kind of presence is invaluable. You want a culture built on commitment, discipline, and pride. You need guys like this to be part of your core. The frustrating part about all of this is that it doesn't line up with the moves the Raiders have made so far this offseason. Think about it. The team has been aggressive, decisive, and forward-thinking. They went out and got a quarterback they believe in. They revamped the coaching staff with a clear direction. They added depth through the draft and free agency. There's been a plan, and for the most part it's made sense. But suddenly, when it comes to 2 of your most reliable players, the guys who are crucial to your success, both short-term and long-term, the brakes are being pumped. It just doesn't add up. What really gets under my skin is the risk this team is taking by not acting now. If Kolton Miller and Jacoby Myers both perform at the level we expect, they'll have all the leverage next offseason. That's not an if, they've already proven what they're capable of. Miller has shown he can anchor the left side of the line against the best edge rushers in the game. Myers has shown he can be a number 1 wideout even in a dysfunctional offense. So what happens if they both have career years? You think their price tags are going to stay where they are now? Not a chance. And if they do hit the open market, other teams are going to pounce. There's always a demand for solid offensive linemen and dependable wide receivers. Teams with more cap space, different defensive schemes, or better Super Bowl odds might lure them away. Then the Raiders are left scrambling, trying to replace them with rookies or mid-year free agents. And we're back to square one. That's not how you build a contender. That's how you stay stuck in mediocrity. It's like this: if you believe in your guys, you back them now, not later. Not after they prove it again. They've already proved it. Kolton Miller has shown he can be a top 15 tackle when healthy. Jacoby Myers has shown he can produce with subpar quarterback play. These are not players you just let walk because of financial hesitation. If you wait until March, you might lose them altogether or end up paying a premium. Either way, it's a Los situation. And the timeline argument, let's break that down. Kolton Miller is 29. Jacoby Myers is 28. Geno Smith is 33. If you're trying to build a core that can compete over the next 2-3 years, these are exactly the guys you want around. They're in their prime. They're experienced. They bought into the team culture, and they can still produce at a high level. Pete Carroll is coming in with a win-o mentality. You don't bring in someone like him to start over with rookies and developmental players. You build around proven talent. You maximize your window while it's open. And I get it, there's a temptation to wait and see. Maybe Grant develops faster than expected. Maybe one of those young receivers breaks out. But hoping that everything falls into place perfectly is not a strategy. That's gambling. And when you're trying to build a sustainable competitive football team, gambling on the future instead of securing the present is a dangerous game. Look, this team hasn't exactly been a model of consistency over the past decade. There's been turnover, controversy, coaching changes, front office shakeups. But for the first time in a while, it feels like there's a real foundation forming. Max Crosby is in place. Geno Smith has been brought in to lead. Pete Carroll and his staff are setting the tone. So why would you not want to lock in two of your most critical pieces on offense? Let's not pretend there's a lack of resources either. The Raiders have the cap room. They're not strapped for cash. They've managed their finances well. So this isn't about being unable to afford extensions, it's about choosing not to, and that's where the real concern kicks in. If you're not choosing to extend Miller and Myers now, what exactly are you waiting for? Another season of solid tape, another year of leadership and consistency at that point. You're just betting against yourself, and I know fans are paying attention. Raider Nation isn't stupid. They see who's putting in the work. They know who's shown loyalty to this team. When a player steps up, says he wants to be a Raider, attends every practice, even the optional ones, and performs on the field, that matters. And when the team doesn't reward that, it sends a bad message, not just to the fans but to the rest of the locker room. What kind of message are you sending if you don't extend Kolton Miller and Jakobi Meyers? That showing up, working hard, and producing doesn't guarantee anything. That loyalty is a one-way street. That's not the kind of culture you want in a winning organization. You want guys to believe that if they do things the right way, the team will take care of them. That's how you build trust. That's how you create buy-in. That's how you build a real team. And let's be honest, the locker room dynamics matter. These guys aren't just pieces on a depth chart. They're leaders. They're tone setters. They influence younger players. If you're a rookie on this team and you see Kolton Miller doing everything right, but still not getting extended, what do you think that does to your mindset? You think, why should I show up to voluntary workouts? Why should I go the extra mile? It creates a culture of just enough instead of a culture of excellence. So here's where I land on all of this. Extending Kolton Miller and Jakobi Meyers isn't just about locking in talent. It's about setting the standard. It's about saying, if you want to be part of what we're building, and you show us with your play and your commitment, will show you the same in return. That's what great franchises do. That's what the Ravens do. That's what the Chiefs do. That's what the Eagles do. They identify their core and they invest in them. Not after it's too late. Not after another team starts sniffing around. They do it now, because the worst case scenario, you wait. Miller and Myers ball out this season. Their value skyrockets. Other teams start calling. And suddenly you're in a bidding war you didn't need to be in. Or worse, they walk and you're left with unproven players at two of the most important positions on the field. That's how you waste a window. That's how you waste the momentum you've been building all off-season. You don't need to overthink this. You don't need to complicate it. The solution is simple. Get the deals done now. Show your guys you believe in them. Reward the ones who've earned it. Set the tone for the rest of the roster and give your quarterback the protection and weapons he needs to succeed. If the Raiders are serious about turning the page and entering a new era of competitiveness, this is the move that needs to happen. Not tomorrow, not next spring. Today, extend Kolton Miller, extend Jakobi Meyers, and let's get to work. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A major shakeup might be on the horizon for the Las Vegas Raiders, as rumors swirl around the NFL community about the team potentially landing two elite linebackers this offseason. Sources suggest that Devin White, the dynamic and hard-hitting linebacker known for his explosive play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Bobby Wagner, the veteran stalwart and tackling machine from the Seattle Seahawks, could both be signing with the Raiders and bringing their talents to the silver and black. While nothing is confirmed yet, the possibility of these two defensive powerhouses joining forces in Las Vegas has created quite a buzz among fans and analysts alike. Devin White, celebrated for his speed, sideline sideline range, and ability to disrupt opposing offenses, has been a cornerstone of Tampa Bay's defense. His youthful energy and aggressive style of play have earned him multiple Pro Bowl selections and a reputation as one of the league's top Linebackers. On the other hand, Bobby Wagner brings a wealth of experience and leadership, having anchored Seattle's defense for nearly a decade. Known for his football IQ, tackling precision, and ability to read offenses, Wagner is widely regarded as one of the best linebackers in the modern era. The idea that these two could team up in Las Vegas is tantalizing. The Raiders, who have been searching for ways to bolster their defense, would get an immediate boost in both talent and leadership. White's explosive athleticism combined with Wagner's savvy veteran presence could transform the Raiders' linebacker corps into one of the most formidable units in the NFL. Additionally, the Silver and Black's defensive scheme might evolve to take full advantage of such unique skill sets, allowing the Raiders to be more aggressive against both the run and pass. It's worth noting that acquiring both players would be a significant financial and strategic move, potentially signaling the Raiders' intent to contend fiercely in the coming seasons. Fans have already begun speculating on how head coach Josh McDaniels and defensive coordinator Patrick Graham might integrate these two stars into the existing lineup, possibly reshaping the team's defensive identity. Of course, these reports remain speculative for now, and much depends on contract negotiations, salary cap considerations, and the players' own preferences. But if the rumors turn into reality, the NFL landscape could see a seismic shift, with the Raiders emerging as a defensive powerhouse thanks to the combined efforts of Devin White and Bobby Wagner. Stay tuned as this story develops and the Silver and Black's off-season plans unfold. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.